Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Month of the Full Moon here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a movie from 1991. That movie is Trancers 2, The Return of Jack Deth. Now, for those of you who have actually watched the first Trancers, or if you saw my review of this, I kind of mentioned this. The first Trancers movie ends with our main character Jack being stuck in the 1980s after traveling back in time and taking over the body of his 1980s ancestor. And they say that there's no way to bring him back, which makes no sense considering the fact that halfway through the first film they totally brought Jack back to his present time. So now he's stuck in the past for fuck you, that's why. And a new threat is looming. I also should mention that in that review I mentioned that Helen Hunt was probably only in the first one. I really didn't look into this. I just did. Helen Hunt's actually in the first 3 films. So I guess Jack is not going to be leaving the 1980s for a while. Well, I guess now it's the 1990s since the second one was made in 91. Anyway, I am totally rambling here. I have no earthly clue if this thing is going to be any good. I'm certainly hoping that it's as interesting and as much fun as the first Trancers, but the only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Trancers 2, The Return of Jack Deth. So, Jack is not able to go back to his time because he's been in 1991, too long. They've had 6 fucking years. Are you telling me that at no time nobody went back there and shot him up with the fucking serum to shoot him back to his own time? Really? Nobody thought to do that. No one at all. I'm sorry, guys, that just seems kind of fucked up and weird. You knew how to bring him back. Fuck, you did it once in the previous movie. Why not do it again? It just kind of bugs me, I guess. You know, guys, I was just thinking of something. I know this has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on in the movie right now, but the plan is for Jack to be sent back to his time by putting him in his current body, the body of his fucking ancestor, to basically take that body and launch it into the future. Wouldn't that then mean that Jack would cease to be because his ancestor wasn't back in 1985/1991 in order to keep his bloodline going? Wouldn't that quite literally undo Jack's entire being and thus completely undo the plan of making him part of the council? At least logically, that is what would happen. But seeing as how this is a franchise that seems to have no fucking clue how to do time travel and make it sensible, I'm just gonna have to assume that that's gonna somehow work out for him. And you know what? I guess that's sort of cool. Doesn't make any fucking sense, but hopefully they'll have some kind of an explanation before the movie's done. You know, guys, I really think that this whole love fucking triangle thing with Jack, Alice, and Lena is going to get really old really fast. It honestly was not interesting the first time they played it up, and it's not really getting any better. I certainly hope that this gets fucking fixed and fixed fast, because it's really starting to bring this whole film down. You know, guys, out of all the things I thought I'd see in this movie, a bunch of drunks playing like baseball was not exactly high up there. I actually kind of thought that we had gotten past the whole let's watch a bunch of drunk people play baseball when Hap cleaned up his act at the start of the film, but no, we have to revisit this because it was in the first movie, I guess. However, it was one of the scenes that kind of sucked in the first movie. It's somehow a little bit worse here. I can't wait for this scene to end, guys. So wait. So this guy is making Trancers by turning them into drug addicts? If memory serves, when his brother was making Trancers in the first film, it's because he had like a psychic link to them. He was able to like psychically control them, and that's what turned him into Trancers. How the fuck does getting them high on some wacky future, drug do the exact same thing? They really didn't even make any effort to explain it, considering the fact that this film doesn't explain any of those sorts of things. I have a funny feeling that I'm just going to have to sit here and wonder exactly how the fuck this even works. And it's probably going to irritate the shit out of me all the way until the end of the film. I can feel that right now. Well, guys, that was Trancers 2, The Return of Jack Deth. Let me shut that off. Oh my god, my head is fucking throbbing. Alright, the reason why, I swear to God, guys, trying to figure a lot of this shit out has literally given me a headache. I've joked about that in the past. I didn't think it would actually happen. Holy fuck. Okay. So, you guys remember when I reviewed the first Trancers, I was talking about how, when you're doing a time travel movie, you have to make sure that you have rules in place, so that way things make sense. And I questioned how a lot of the shit that they did in that movie didn't really make a whole lot of sense logically. Well, as I thought about it, technically, I can give all of that a free pass. Alright, I can give all of that a free pass because it was the first Trancers film. They were able to lay out the fucking groundwork in any way that they wanted to play with how to do time travel. Okay, that's totally fine. As much as that still doesn't make a lot of the shit in the first one make sense. Once you've established your rules for time travel, and once you've established the rules about how certain things work and function, you need to stick with those fucking rules. Otherwise, none of this is going to make any sense. So let me see if I can explain this. So the plan was that the council, the ruling body in the future, were going to go into the past a few years to find Jack's wife shortly before she dies in Jack's arms. They're going to send her back in time in order to help Jack take out the brother of the villain from the first film, who's now creating even more Trancers. I could touch on the whole Trancer thing too, but I'll get to that in just a sec. And she has to try to jam Jack into this like little like shoebox thing that's supposed to send people back to what I guess in their eyes would be the present. So that way Jack can be a member of the council. The council, which, if memory serves, has been whittled down to one person as per the events of the first film. Why is it whittled down to one person? Because the villain in the first movie, Whistler, went back in time and killed the ancestors of the council members, so that way the council members never fucking existed. Now Jack is no longer able to go back into his old body, so he has to go, so he would theoretically, spoiler, this doesn't happen. He has to go back to his time in the body of his ancestor without having sired a child. Therefore, as per the rules established in the first film, Jack Deth would cease to exist the moment he went back in that body to his time period. Yet that is not what happens. In fact, the person who is sent back does not vanish, even though when they were sent back to 1991, they were in the body of a teenager and had yet to have a child, meaning that there is no lineage, meaning that there is no bloodline, meaning that person should not fucking exist. These are basic logical rules established in the very first movie, the movie immediately before this one. So to throw all of that, so basically to throw all of that out the fucking window, sort of makes me wonder what kind of rules this film franchise is working with. While I'm on the subject of previously established rules, in the first movie, Trancers were essentially mindless zombies who Whistler essentially created because he had such a strong psychic bond with them. Whistler's brother Wardo has no known psychic abilities and is instead somehow able to make Trancers by getting them wild high on these super fucked up future friggin' drugs, which apparently he brought seeds for from his time back to 1991, so that way he could grow them in the 20th century, get people high on them, and thus turn them into Trancers. I'm sorry, but once more, when you have rules in place, it helps if you stick to them. I understand it would be weird. In fact, it would be almost nonsensical if both Whistler and Wardo were both super psychics who are able to just say, fuck it, and just psychically turn people into fucking Trancers as long as the person has a weak enough will. But at least that would have kept things constant. Or perhaps maybe if Wardo had some kind of a machine that replicates the very same psychic link. I don't think that getting them high on drugs is going to create the exact same kind of psychic link that was there when Whistler was making Trancers. It just seems basically as if they didn't care when they made this movie. Now, I could continue to talk about all of the nonsensical bullshit this movie has in terms of rules that were, at least I thought, firmly established in the previous film. I could continue to talk about that. But guess what? My head is still fucking throbbing and I'm still trying to make sense of it. I'm going to try to look past all that. Let's talk about the writing outside of all of that shit. Outside of all of that, the writing here is actually pretty good. We once more have a really solid action movie, and as long as you shut your brain off and are not willing to think for more than 3 seconds about all the time travel shit that's going on in this film, as well as all of the Trancer creation shit, if you're willing to shut off your brain, look past all of that, we do have here a very solid action movie. It's a very fun action movie. However, again, if you attempt in the slightest to try to put logic into it, it's going to hurt. And I mean that literally, because god damn it, I've never gotten a headache while trying to figure out anything in a fucking movie. That is something special. And as soon as I'm done filming this, I'm probably going to have to down a couple of fucking aspirin, because I don't think that this headache is going to go away anytime fucking soon. Anyway, the writing is decent if you can look past the massive gaping flaws within the writing, which, since I was able to do that in the first film, I think I can totally do that with this one. It's just, I can't do it now because it's all still fresh in my fucking head. Anyway, so, what about acting? Well, the acting here is, the acting isn't great. I'm going to say that it kind of falls into the same category as the first film. Our acting here was never going to win Oscars. It was never going to win anything. The actors are just there, and all of them are turning in the barest fucking minimum in terms of effort. And you know what? In this sort of a movie, that totally works. Nobody here is really putting out this awesome showing that is going to make them tower over everybody else. The closest I would say is Tim fucking Thomerson, and Tim Thomerson, I believe I stated this in the previous Trancers review, is basically a low rent Shatner. So if you're really into that kind of hammy acting, rock on. Thomerson is going to really sell this movie for you. So yeah, guys, the acting here is certainly decent. It's not great, but it is certainly good, and I'm wondering exactly how many actors were basically walking around the set with massive throbbing fuck off headaches trying to figure out what the hell was going on in that goddamn script. Anyway, I'm sorry. That just, wow. And I think about it more and my head hurts more. I've really got to stop fucking doing that. Okay. So, special effects. We have even less special effects here than we had in the first movie. At least in the first movie, we had things like fucking lasers and all that other kind of stuff. We don't have any of that here. And our Trancer makeup is nowhere near as cool looking as it was in the first movie. And our action effects are not quite as good. I will say that because they use the exact same special effect for singeing Trancers, at least that looks okay. And the squib work, because now nobody has laser pistols, everybody just has regular guns. We have a ton of fucking squib work, and all of that is done really well. Really is kind of a shame that they didn't put as much care and as much effort into the Trancer makeup this time around, because it is a massive step back from the Trancer makeup scene in the first movie. Our sound mix here is very, very good. Our soundtrack is fantastic. Our sound mix is good. Our camera work is stellar. Ultimately, guys, am I able to recommend Trancers 2? If you can shut your brain off for 90 minutes, yes. If you can't, and if you know that logical potholes are gonna fuck with you, you may want to avoid this one. But I can still say that if you are just looking for simple, stupid sci-fi action fun, then this is a great movie, and at least on that level, I can totally recommend it. So at least we have that. Now, Trancers 2, as with the other movies in this box set, all came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was a YouTuber by the name of the Expatriate 700. Yeah, I still have it written down. Please, guys, head over to his YouTube channel. That'd be youtube.com/user/theexpatriate700. Dude, I thank you. I had high hopes going into the second one because the first one was so fucking strong. It was so awesome. And while it is still a fun action movie, my God, that writing. You know, now honestly that I stopped fucking thinking about it for a couple of minutes, my headache is actually beginning to fade. So that's at least a good sign. But yeah, it was that writing that just left me just sitting there wondering, and as I stated, it gave me a fucking headache. I didn't even think a movie could genuinely do that. However, though, it was still a fun movie when all was said and done, and I wouldn't have known that if you hadn't sent it in, and for that, I thank you. Somebody's messaging me on Facebook. I don't give a shit. Whoever the hell's messaging me can just fuck off. I'll even tell them that after I'm done filming. So anyway, guys, once more, that is youtube.com/user/theexpatriate700. Please head over to his channel, check out everything he has. I'm going to assume that it's a he. And please correct me if I happen to be wrong, please. Anyway, guys, that was certainly good. I'm probably going to have to still take an aspirin. I still feel a little bit of a headache after trying to figure out all of the shit in this movie. I'm hoping that the next three don't have that kind of problem with it. So yeah, I'm going to have to find that out, though, a little bit later. But I've got another movie I got to get through before that. And, oh boy. Yeah, it's another one of those. I am not looking forward to that in the slightest. I'm looking at it, and I'm still wondering why the hell any evil prick would waste money to send that to me. But that is for the next reaction and review. I am not going to let that get in my fucking way. I am going to go find something else in my Blu-ray collection after I tell off the asshole who messaged me on Facebook while I was fucking filming. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.